So I also want to talk a little bit about the industrial design. When you actually open it up, you'll notice that it has this kind of head and camera unit that pops out, and it looks a little bit like WALL-E from the Pixar movies. And I assumed that when it arrived that it was going to be this thing about the size of a toaster, you know, like a giant camera. And when it actually got to me and I received this thing, this tiny little product, I was amazed because, you know, it's like the size of, you know, 2 golf balls put together. And what this means is you can put it in all these different locations around your home. Use it to watch your pets. You could put it in the room where they are. You could put it in your living room. You could have it in the room that your kids are in, you know, with their playroom. So there's all these different locations around your home. It fits in so many different environments. So I want to talk a little bit about the resolution, the image quality, and some of the features that are related to image capture. And the first thing that I want to show is that you can zoom in and out. So you can do pinch zoom and see more details. So inside of the sensor of this camera, you can capture a 2K resolution image. That actually means you have 5 million pixels of resolution. And besides this, when you're viewing on your device, you have the ability to toggle between different viewing modes. So you can either be in this 3:4 resolution, or you can do full screen depending on whatever you prefer. And the final thing that's really interesting, this is a vertical image. So all the footage that you're recording with the Genie S is actually recorded in a vertical format. It's a little bit like if you guys have played with TikTok or YouTube Reels. It's a totally different format where everything is vertical and you have content that you create with this device that you can immediately share to those social media platforms. So pretty much every other security camera I've played with usually has a wide angle horizontal field of view. Unlike all those other products, the Genie S has a vertical field of view, which means you can do some pretty unique and cool things. So I want to show you guys also one other thing, which is related to the different pan and tilt abilities you have when you're using the Genie S. And so as you can see now, I can pan from left to right. I can see like the entire environment that I'm in. And so the cool thing about this is a lot of other cameras, if you want to look down, for instance, you want to see like the ground, or you take the camera and you place it high up and you want to see into your room, or like you place it on a bookshelf and you want to see what's happening like right below, that becomes very difficult. But with the Genie S, you can actually tilt down, 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 and you can get basically a 90-degree view and get a very clear view of whatever is directly below the Genie S. So as far as I know, no other camera is able to do this. And I think for certain people, certain users in certain situations, this could be really useful. So besides this two-way connection you can have between people through audio.
Hey, Alex.
And when you're speaking quietly, so even if I whisper and I'm saying something really quietly, it's able to be picked up by the Genie S, even when there's other background noise. But one of the other things that you can do with this camera that I think is pretty cool is that you can turn on a spotlight. And so you'll see, for instance, if I point this at myself as I'm recording here in our studio, that it makes a big difference. So for instance, right now, this is the maximum brightness. You can actually see on my face how bright this is, even though we're filming this inside of an apartment. But you can adjust down, you can adjust to the middle, or you can take it all the way up. And it's pretty obvious, right? So it's a pretty powerful LED light that you get on the front of the camera. You'll notice that when you're recording footage at night, usually it's appearing as black and white. And so this is okay, but it's not useful if you're trying to determine a lot of color information or see a lot more detail of what's happening. So this ability to control the light, the ability to resolve resolution in night settings, this is pretty cool and pretty unique. The other thing that I think is important to mention when it comes to really understanding how the Genie S works is about where the files are stored. Some of them take your footage and put it in the cloud, and other providers will record the footage onto an SD card that you have to go out and buy and then manually install inside of your own device. But unlike either of these solutions, the Genie S has a new approach. And what they've done is they've created two options, 32 gigabytes and 64 gigabytes. You can record footage, and once it's full, it'll take the oldest clips and basically record over those. And what that means is basically you're always gonna have an up-to-date collection of the most recent clips and footage on the device, and automatically have old footage or historical footage from the past automatically deleted. This comes along with the product directly. You don't need to buy a separate SD card. And then you're actually able to record all the footage that you capture directly onto the device itself. So it's time to get started with using this very cool product.